Hello, Internet. It's Paul. It's Matt, the Dork Lords. We're here talking about Star Trek Discovery, Season 2, Episode 8, if memory serves.
Yeah.
This is, got a lot of Easter eggs.
Sure, yeah. Well, it's coming up. Easter.
That's probably why they did it. Okay. In fact, right from the beginning, right, we open up with old school opening credits. Previously on Star Trek with the old font from the 60s.
And the old theme song.
And so they show us... well done, sir. You got up there.
Yeah, I know.
They show us scenes from The Cage.
Yes.
Right, it wasn't the menagerie. Well, the menagerie used scenes from The Cage, whatever. Okay, The Cage. The very first... The pilot... What originally was supposed to be the pilot for the original series.
Yeah.
So they try to give us kind of the lowdown of, Pike and company were lured to this planet where they met the Telosians, big head illusionists, and they meet Vina. It supposedly is with her crew of other, they crash landed, but she doesn't have a crew. They all died. She was the only one who survived.
Yeah.
And the Telosians created illusions of everything.
They also introduced us to the singing flowers.
Singing flowers.
Yeah, I wonder if they are the ones actually who sings the theme of the show.
Right. Then you touch them and they shut up. So it is a little jarring to see when it switches into Discovery, you see production values. they have them on this show, but I like the little transition from 60s Pike to our Pike. You could kind of see a little resemblance there.
Of course.
Sure, it worked out.
About the 60s Vina.
Yes, 60s Vina to modern Vina.
Yeah, what about that?
I liked, actually, the actress. I actually looked up her IMDb. She's done a lot of stuff, but the thing that I remember her from was the show In Treatment on HBO. I really liked her performance in that when she was one of the patients for Gabriel Byrne's character. And anyway, she did a great job on it. Anyway, she does a great job, I think, on this episode.
Sure.
I'm good with it.
Sure. I mean, a part that doesn't really require anything. Sure.
In what way does it not require anything?
Well, I mean, just like I'm beautiful, and that's why. And being beautiful is so important to me.
We can talk about that. For
I
sure.
want to stay on a planet that lets me be beautiful.
Right. The nature of that particular theme is a little weird. We'll definitely talk about that. Maybe we'll talk about it up front. But okay, anyway. But we open with that. So we set the tone. This was 3 years ago. Spock and Pike were lured by the Telosians to Talos 4.
Yes.
Now, I believe the whole purpose of that luring was so that the Telosians could get basically human slaves. I think they wanted Pike to have sex with Vina so they could populate the world with slaves.
Well, maybe more accurately, human zoo creatures.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So slave, you want them to work, and I feel like these people didn't need them to work.
They need them to work?
I don't feel like they did. They was like, why don't you enjoy each other?
Be captive.
Yes.
You're prisoners
have
for our
sex
enjoyment.
with each other. What you doing in a zoo? They want you to breed.
Yeah. Good point.
Nicer.
Point being, it
not
wasn't
Simon Legree.
It's
more Dr. Doolittle.
So my point being that the Telosians weren't like kinder, gentler, happy aliens. They kind of had a sinister purpose in mind.
Well, out of ignorance.
Sure. All right.
You don't like being stuck in a cage?
Well, all right. We'll let you go then.
Yeah.
But she can stay.
Yeah.
So,
because she likes this cage.
So that's one of the reasons why it's quarantined as well. In the 3 years later, Talos 4 has been quarantined ever since this thing, because these folks have amazing psychic abilities and can fool pretty much anybody into anything. And at least at once upon a time, wanted to lure people to their planet to imprison them.
Sure.
So that's
and cage them.
because what this episode does is kind of basically says, like, Telosians are fine.
Sure.
They're fine.
Yeah.
So I
can
guess
help you with your mental problems.
And we do know that in 10 years-ish time, show-wise, Spock is going to risk his career to take Pike back to this planet to like let him live out his world, his life, the rest of his life.
It's a good thing you said that because it's been a while since I've seen that episode. It's really Spock who does it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, of course, because he's the only remaining cast member who's on the show.
Yeah. So I guess in that way, he at least Spock would feel like the Telosians are trustworthy in that moment.
Yeah.
So
sure.
So the Telosians have redeemed themselves in some way, and their big heads also mean they have.
Well, I mean, he
hearts.
trusted himself to be taken there to get fixed. So obviously, even before this, he trusted them.
Good point.
But
Good point.
Poor trusting Spock.
So, like we suspected, Spock was kind of controlling. He's unable to communicate, to verbalize. Has like an aphasia, basically. But wants Burnham to take him to Talos 4, and so that was because he realizes that Telosians have the power to psychically fix him in some psychic way.
Yes, psychic. Hand wavy.
What we find out is that Spock saw the Red Angel, as we know, back in the day.
Back in the day.
Again, we mentioned a theory last week, which actually mentioned in the theory, perhaps there was a timeline in which Burnham had been killed off back on Vulcan, and that the Red Angel had shown up to Spock to try to keep Michael Burnham from dying. That has actually played out.
Yes.
In this situation. So.
Yeah, it's not. I'm only furrowing my brow because it's use of the word timeline.
Oh, because it is a timeline. There are different. These are not time frames. These are timelines now. There's a timeline where Michael died.
Well,
and then bad things happened to whoever's in the future, and there's a timeline where she stayed alive.
I mean, I think you can get into a debate, which would be very boring. Okay. But I think you get a debate. Wonder if what the Red Angel was showing him was a different timeline, like it actually happened, or this is how things could occur. Like if it's just a projection of something, as opposed to actually showing you something that actually did happen in a timeline. That's what I'm talking about.
I feel like it actually did happen. There's a timeline in which Michael Burnham died, and because she wasn't around to do all of the very important things she's done, even in these 2 seasons, for good or bad, start the Klingon War, for instance, that's screwed up the galaxy so bad that at the end of this time, the Red Angel and whatever people the Red Angel represents are in real trouble, and the world is, we see all these explosions.
So are you saying that it's like Terminator, wherein we live in a shitty future, and if we send somebody in the past to fix it, then, more time, Terminator is trying to protect what happened in the past,
Terminator's actually trying to
but they
change the past.
But it's not like at the end of it they're like, don't tell Sarah Connor anything, because they want Sarah Connor to change things.
Sure. Yes.
So,
I think the answer is yes. It's like that.
Okay, I didn't think that.
What do you feel like?
That, and I'm hoping it's not that. I feel like they're like, oh, it's important that she's there, and we should make sure that she stays there. So
there being where?
It's important that she is alive to do the things she did. So, here's, because if there's this other faction that's making bad things happen, maybe they're the ones that caused her parents. Maybe they weren't supposed to die, and then we're now supposed to die, and so her parents died, and so she went with the Vulcans, and now she can get killed. Ha ha.
Okay, so you're saying, in other words, it's the Red Angel and this other faction that are working at odds with each other to try to kill Michael Burnham.
Yes, or whatever. Yes,
among other
or
things.
Save Michael Burnham. Yes, to have other. Yes, I mean that's my feeling.
Well,
because I feel like you're really trying to and then Michael Burnham never existed.
I am. Not that I don't like Michael Burnham. I think the character's fine. But in terms of fixing the timeline,
because if you were in the writing, you'd be writing wouldn't it fix the timeline if Tilly was killed?
Exactly. That would be my version. Would be Tilly solves all of the canonical problems. But no, Michael does solve a lot of canonical problems if she suddenly doesn't exist. But yes, okay.
As big as a cheat that would feel like.
It would feel like a huge cheat.
He's rooting for it.
Well, kind of. It's done okay. I can see it done in a good way.
Really?
I still
you
have
know those 2 seasons of Star Trek? Meh.
I just feel like the Spock never talking about her ever feels weird. But considering how, actually, I'll mention this.
Considering how irrationally he hates her now.
There's two other sci-fi properties that I want to compare some of this stuff to. One is I'm kind of comparing what's happened to Spock, and we'll talk about we see that in the past what happened between Michael and Spock.
Indeed, we do.
But it's kind of like to put it in Westworld terms.
Yes.
His cornerstone, right? In the Westworld, it's like, the robots, in order to achieve consciousness, they have a cornerstone moment that defines who they are, and then it's usually built on pain, some painful moment.
I thought you were going to say it's like Counterpart with their point of diversion.
Oh, sure. No, it's not that. We had the mirror universe
really,
Spock out there to go to.
It's really like the universe where the logic extremists never bothered Burnham enough to leave, and then Spock and Michael just got along like a house on fire. Eventually they opened up a little like the Odd Couple, went into a apartment on Earth.
Right.
Just lived together.
They ran like a little sunglass kiosk in the mall. Okay, so Spock has this cornerstone of, there was that time when my sister, who I love dearly, disowned me, and it was horrible, and that made me decide to, be logical.
Yeah, sister no more.
Which is just, you could almost compare Vulcans to robots in a way too, I think.
Sure, of course.
Logic, no emotion, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, so there you go. There's your Westworld connection. The Telosians are the ones that I thought of compares to the Matrix. And I guess since you brought it up before we launch more into some of the episode beats, let's bring this up. So it's Vina and her choice to stay on this planet.
Yes.
So I would compare Vina to Cypher from The Matrix.
Sure, why not?
Where Cypher, if you remember, now she's not a villain necessarily, but maybe. No, probably not. But Cypher, there's a scene there where he's like, I'm eating this steak, and I know it's just a bunch of ones and zeros, but damn it, I don't care. It tastes great.
Yep, ignorance is bliss, he says.
And so he is perfectly fine to have this illusionary world where he's, happy. It's similar with her, like, she's on this planet. She's the only human on the planet.
Yep, only human.
It's not like she's friends with the Telosians.
No, it's not like that at all.
In fact, there's a few scenes even in this episode where she's like, "Don't make them mad. Yeah. They do horrible things." So she's not. It's not like, "Oh, it's my buddy Bert."
Yeah, no.
Bert and I hang. No. So she's completely alone. But they give her illusions of Captain Pike.
Yep.
And illusion of her beauty.
Yep.
And she goes on her day. Now. Yeah. I suppose there's a faction of people that would want. There's ciphers out there who are like, that's great.
Probably, woo!
But it seems like there's also the Morpheuses on this world who are like, maybe that's not the best existence. And in some ways, like, there is a threshold. Like, for instance, with Pike.
Yes.
When we see him 10 years from now and he's a little beep machine.
Yes,
beep,
yes.
Okay. Maybe if I'm in that state and I'm basically a Dalek with a human head. Maybe you're like, all right, give me the illusion that I'm healthy.
You're like, maybe. You're not sure.
I'm pretty sure. Actually, I'll take it.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Okay.
But
if you're just deformed,
right?
And I think she's kind of even kind of bent over too. So
I feel like if I'm deformed but not dying, I think I'd rather be in a place with other human beings, have free will, and have they say the illusion of free will.
Sure.
Yeah. No. What are your?
I mean,
if you're Vina, do you stay?
If I'm Vina, well,
she had the opportunity.
Right.
Back in the cage, it's like, hey, you want to come with us?
Sure.
She's like, nope.
Yeah.
I would rather be beautiful here by myself.
Yeah. I mean, as I recall, Vina's world, meh. So maybe if they have better writers on Talos 4, okay. Then I like, oh no, this is good.
Wow,
I'm good.
Me a great story.
Yeah. So yeah, it depends on the story. That's me.
No, they make her like, they give her a menial job, but she has to like,
the equivalent of Brady Bunch or Full House or whatever.
I mean, if you really think about it, it's Neo, Keanu Reeves in Matrix is like, oh, I don't have a desk job. In my dream world, where I could do anything.
Right. Well, no.
I filed papers.
Well, you know what the deal is.
I know exactly.
Yes.
They gave him a dream world, and
they hated that. We know you prefer to be tortured. We know you humans.
Yeah. So Vina apparently doesn't mind that though. She's like, give me the paradise version.
Well, it's not like right. Well, yeah, because or leave, go there and be with people who think you're ugly.
And she knows it's an illusion. Because she says on this episode, like, oh, they gave me a version of you.
Right.
So and she knows it, and she's like, cool, awesome.
So in your, to argue your point, this is supposed to be the future, where, people shouldn't be treating you horribly just because you're a little disfigured.
Right.
And, the question of whether or not, because I feel as if, it's been a long time since I watched that episode, it's like, we're just, foreign. We don't understand how to make humans, so we did the best we could fixing you up. But, go to your own doctors. You think by now,
yes,
like we can make people, give people new bodies.
And you'd have free will, and you'd actually have
we can give
friends,
people,
maybe your family. Does she have family out there
somewhere? We can give people new bodies, but we can't give you a new face.
It's just like...
right? Because actually, you shouldn't need... to have this other transport technology to create another version of Culber, right? You shouldn't need that far. The fact that you typically beam someone away and beam them back, you'd think you could beam something better with their face, is all I'm saying.
Use the beam cosmetology effect?
Yeah, that's right.
Just saying, if she's staying there merely for cosmetic reasons, that seems pretty superficial and shallow, but so be it. Okay. Anyway,
yes.
There we go. That's my Vina rant. Okay.
There you go, rant.
Okay.
Over.
So, over. Done. So, let's talk real fast about the B plot in this, because we can kind of get through that fairly quickly. This is Culber.
Yes.
Still dealing with his
resurrection.
Self, his resurrection.
Yes.
And then his confrontation with Ash Tyler. So, I think what they're insinuating here is there's a moment where, that's right. Stamets tries to make him his favorite meal.
Yep.
And he's eating, and he's like, okay. And Stamets is like, don't you like it? He's like, I don't remember eating this.
No,
I remember, but that's the point. He remembers it.
He doesn't feel
doesn't
connected to it. Yeah.
So what I get out of that is that when his body was reconstituted in the mycelial network, the mycelial natives were like, oh, we'll take these and put them together. They made it so that his neurons work, his memories work. Yes. But things like experiences, like, oh, I touched your shirt. I know what that feels like. He doesn't have that memory because he just has memories, but not actual experiential.
I mean, that's possible because, later in the episode when he gets his hand hurts and he likes that because it makes him feel connected to his body.
Yeah.
I think that he's expressing it as if he can't feel things, and I think he's experiencing it just as a disconnect. I don't think he's actually not having any sensations. I think, and tasting things. I think it just tastes weird to him because it doesn't feel like it's his body. That's what I think he means.
Okay. All right. What do you foresee? I mean, let's put it this way. At this moment, this character is kind of in a bad way.
Yeah.
Do you see this as a...
It would be cruel if he took his own life.
I know. I'm just saying. It sounds like either he takes his own life or he sacrifices himself to save the crew.
I think...
I'm dead anyway.
I think there
Kill me a second time.
I think, again, that would be like... People would be very angry at them, I think.
I agree.
I think it's a more likely thing that still might have a similar effect is if he decided that he didn't want to be on the ship anymore, right? Because he's only been around for a couple of episodes.
I'm going to go transfer to the Enterprise.
Yeah, or I'm going to go home to my family or whatever to start again. Or I'm going to go to a completely different place I've never been before.
I'm going to go find Stamets.
To find myself. So I think that's a possibility.
I agree. Yeah, because it does feel right now, so what you could... the arc you could put Cobra on is the like I'm an assault victim. I'm dealing with this PTSD of the assault, and I'm going to get over it with my friends. And at the end, I'm kind of back to somewhat well adjusted, and I'm either with the crew or, like you say, I make an affirmative decision, not out of fear, but just like I think I should move on and do a thing and whatever.
Yeah, I mean, another thing they might do, I think, is if you want to keep him on the show, is have him perhaps work in a different capacity that he has previously, or he's just going to be by himself. Trying to figure out what that means, and so perhaps doing new experiences just so you can figure out what his new self is.
I gotcha.
I think it would be better if they did that, because just having him not be on the show, I think, would be, still feel cruel. I mean,
I agree.
It's like one of the things that was occurring.
You got rid of him. You brought him back just to kill him again would be weird, or get rid of him again. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like, I think it would be better if it didn't end up in the relationship being over. I think just to find a new way to be together, perhaps.
Right. So right now he's angry and lashing out, but perhaps there's a road to recovery for him, and Stamets doesn't give up on him, perhaps.
Yeah.
So what happens though here is that at least temporarily they're kind of broken up. I mean they're not like
potentially you could have a whole thing about them having to date again, just to sort of re-experience who they are.
Right. So he more or less breaks up with Stamets, and he confronts Tyler, and they have a big fight in the cafeteria. And instead of stopping them, our newly non-fearing Saru says, "Let him fight." And they fight it out.
I was hearing some people talk about that particular choice of Saru's, and defending it. And I feel like if you actually thought that a fight would help those two people out, that you should say, okay, you can fight in a different place where you're not throwing things around and potentially hurt other people.
We'll put you in like a boxing ring. You got gloves on. We'll put you in a little padding.
That is very in keeping with what we've seen before in terms of the military, right?
Sure.
It's like we have a place where people fight.
I think that was in Battlestar Galactica. I think they had a scene where they were
Yeah. So, I'm sorry.
A freeform fight with chairs and a table.
Yeah. So, sorry, no.
I agree that was, it didn't seem reasonable. Plus, then I liked the talk that Pike has with Saru after that, where he's like, that's not really what we do.
Right.
But I'll let you off this time.
Yeah, he had a great line, though, where it's like, the rules don't really cover...
Oh, humans with Klingons grafted to their bones and recently dead doctors who have been brought back.
To life. He's like, really...
Point taken. Point Saru.
And really, I think something that I want to call out, I guess, because I wonder if at some point it's going to be like, you know what? I'm the captain here, Pike, and... thanks for your help, but I've got it. It's
I know what you mean, right?
Yeah.
You can't keep butting in on my ship, basically.
Yeah. It's like, he's not Mr. Meek anymore. And it's nice having Pike around, but story-wise, it might be one captain too many.
Of course, they punch themselves out till they're exhausted, and then there's that. I liked the line where he's like, "I don't know who I am anymore," and I don't know who you're talking to.
Yeah, that was good. Connection. That was good.
But for the show's purposes, having Tyler there obviously works to like create these conflicts. Great. Just if it was a real ship in a real situation, and this had actually happened,
yes,
I feel like you'd be like, I'm not putting this guy on the ship. The guy who broke your neck and killed you, you have to go eat lunch with that guy? Like, come on. You wouldn't make them have to be together. I think you'd say, hey, I know you're supposed to be a liaison from 31. We'll get another liaison. Why don't we send someone else, thank you. Tyler, why don't you go back? Get out of here.
I mean, you
Put him on another deck.
I feel as if you've expressed your irritation at having him on the ship before. It seems familiar, this argument of yours.
Well, now they've got the new Manchurian candidate, though. Now they got Arium.
That's right.
We got a new spy.
That's right. A new yes.
The crew can't be harmonized because there's always someone breaking them
apart. There always is. Yes. So, yeah.
Yeah. So
I was gonna say just leave it there.
So Arium frames Tyler. Meanwhile, so Tyler's already kind of in a bad way because he's the guy that killed Culber, and everybody hates him more or less. And so people are suspecting him, and he's with Section 31. And suddenly, someone is sending messages. I can't figure out who, but they're using Tyler's command.
More than messages, because he's saying like petabytes worth of data, so it's more than just messages. Okay. It's actually it's like information.
The stuff they took
from
the old alien presence.
Could be that, the library of work.
I do feel like that's the reason why this.
It could be. Certainly, it's the one thing that they've mentioned that
Yeah, but that individual is Arium almost certainly. But Arium is covering her tracks by making it look like it's Tyler.
Yep.
And also the spore drive, when they were going to use it to go to Talos 4 to, save Spock and Michael from Section 31 gets deactivated.
And you're, to call back a discussion we had, they didn't have a qualm about using that spore drive. It was just we're going to use that spore drive, aren't we? When it's not so far that Burnham can get there in a fairly decent amount of time.
And they still got there.
Yeah, they still got there anyway without it,
That's so true. Look, we will never... Okay, let's just use it.
Yeah. Well, we want to get there fast, don't we? Let's go.
All right, here we go. Hook me up. All right. I have nothing to live for anyway. Now that Culber's gone.
Yeah.
So the spore drive is still completely, at their disposal. You'll kill all of us inside the mycelium. Whatever. Yeah. Okay. So just to your point, so what we see is, so Spock reveals, he shares his information, via Telosian brain.
Are you
with
clear
Michael.
what he showed her?
Not exactly, but I think so. Okay. Here's what I think he showed her. He showed her that Red Angel visited him when he was a kid.
Yep.
Told him, hey, Michael's out there and she's about to get eaten by a giant Vulcan monster.
Yep, I'm clear on
and
that.
He saved her that. Okay, great. Then came back to him and gave him those 7 beacons that were going to come about, and also said, hey, meet me on this ice planet.
Yeah.
I don't know what planet. He's Hoth, basically. Go meet him on Hoth. So he goes to this distant planet. I assume that's after he broke out. Yeah, you think? I'm guessing? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe it's before he broke it. Maybe it's before he committed himself?
Oh, you know what?
I'm not sure where that happens. That's a good point. I don't know where the ice planet happens. Is it before he was institutionalized or after? Yeah, good question.
Yeah, because he seemed to be in worse shape when he, was on Vulcan with his mom, and which necessitated him. So yeah, it must have been before he found that. Yeah. I guess.
But so this entity called him to this remote location, and he then mind melded with the Red Angel. Determined it was a human who was desperate and lonely. And okay. And
I sense you're desperate and lonely.
Yes. It's Yoda. He was on Dagobah. That's what he was. Okay. So desperate, lonely human gives him a vision of the future, supposedly.
Sure.
I mean, we have only the Red Angel's word for it, but theoretically, it's what is going to happen if things don't change is that this race of beings, we don't know who it is, but it looks like it's similar tech to the drone that came back with the squid drone.
Oh, yeah,
I think it is similar technology. They shoot a bunch of drones at planets and blow them up.
Yeah.
And they destroy sentient life in the galaxy.
Yeah.
So that's what the vision he got. But in the process of getting that vision, because the Red Angel time is fluid, and he is a I'm linear time Vulcan guy.
Yes.
It made his brain couldn't process the fluid nature of time, and so he got this aphasia and he couldn't talk. And
that was one of the things that irritated me. It's like, oh, the basis of my life has been logic and time. Like, what? Come on.
That bit was, I agree, a little weird too, especially when Michael came back at him with like, well, maybe our relationship is the foundation.
Yeah.
It was like, and I think his response was like,
no.
What are you talking about?
Although I agree with you on one point, and I can't even remember. It was some bullshit point.
That was not the strongest part of the episode. Although I did like the fact that she starts to apologize to him, and he says, I'm not here to absolve you.
Yes.
And she's like, what? I sacrificed everything to get you here. Yeah. And he's like, no, I brought you here.
Yeah.
So
doesn't matter that you sacrificed anything.
Yeah.
Because I wanted it to happen.
I wanted it to happen.
Who cares if it cost you anything?
That's right. It cost you? Woo. All right.
Yeah.
So, he can be a little dickish there, but whatever.
Yes.
He seems still angry about what happened in the past. So let's talk about that. Okay. Well, we find out the Telosians are also jerks in that they're like, oh, we'll help this guy with his mental problems.
Sure.
But as payment,
yes,
you must give us this horrible memory that you both hate and both don't want to share.
They're looking out for us, though, the audience.
Yeah, right, exactly. Because the audience wants to know this.
Yeah, see, because they're watching the show just like us. They're just like,
the audience wants to know. So I did like that. Her response there was pretty good. I liked where she was like,
for what you're doing?
He said, what is for your entertainment?
Yeah.
You're like, no, it's to survive or something. She says, well, find another way to survive, which is it's a good response. Why? What? Anyway, she eventually agrees. Fine. You did stuff for Spock. I will let you take this memory.
Yeah. Oh, well.
first,
Spock is like, "What? I can't talk to you, but I will hold you. You must do this."
Oh, yeah.
And then, what's her name?
Vina.
Vina is like, they're gonna do it anyway. They're just gonna, don't make them force.
Consent is not really a thing with the Telosians.
It's like,
they're Me Too.
It's like you give it to them or they take it.
Yeah,
that's those are your choices.
They're pretending to give you a choice.
Yeah,
they're illusionists.
Yeah.
Which also, by the way, they disguise their planet as a black hole, and that's when Spock's like, "No, we have to go. I'm gonna push this button."
Yes.
Anyway, so the memory is on the night when the extremists attacked. Little Michael Burnham decides I need to save my family by running away and luring these the extremists will be attacking my family as long as I'm here. So I'm gonna leave. Not only will I leave, but I also need to make Spock believe that I hate him, and that way he won't miss me.
Yep.
Or maybe come after me, whatever.
Yeah.
So they have this out, and and Spock's like, "Don't go," and she's like, "You're getting in my, you're dead weight.
You half-breed.
You half-breed." And it's the half-breed comment. I don't like you. I never liked you, half-breed, or something like that. That crushes Spock.
Yep.
And crushes him for decades. Puts him into a horrible spiral. Okay. I thought this was going to be a bigger moment than it was. I'll say that. I have a sister.
Yes.
I believe you have siblings.
I do.
Upon different times we said some bad things to each other.
Certainly.
Little fisticuffs actually occurred at different times, perhaps. Just yesterday. No. But Saru let my sister and I fight. That was nice of him.
Yeah.
Just not fun.
Here's a knife.
Yeah, take it. So, point being, I still get along with my sister. We're friends. I'm not sure that saying never liked you half-breed is enough, especially given this fact that he admits on this planet, like, oh, and I know you were just saying it because you were trying to make it easy on me. Okay. Is that enough? Is that it kind of built to this crescendo of, oh my God, we're about to see that thing and it's going to be horrible. And it's like, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's like 3.2 horrible. Like, oh, you would rather not do that to your brother, but
sure.
I think it's recoverable. He's like, nope, you know what I decided? Thanks to you, I'm not human anymore. I decided I'm going to be logic all the way. Boo emotion, because you were mean to me that one time, and boo is that. Like,
yeah. I'm not crazy about it. But, you can't blame them for doing just what they've done in every other show. It's a common trope.
Right, I'll hurt you to save you.
Yep.
Thing.
That's
But
why
again,
he hates it.
I hate it.
Hate it.
Episodes ago.
Hates it.
Like, oh, I love you so much. I'll have to convincingly make you think that I'm a dick in order to make you safe. Like, come on. There are plenty of ways you could resolve that without convincingly hurting the person you supposedly love. I know. Hurting the person you love doesn't seem like it should ever be a reasonable solution to your problems.
I remember, I'll have to remember if I ever leave the show that I can't do that. Idiot!
I thought you liked George Stewart.
I hate it.
All this time? Logic, only logic. So, yeah, it was kind of a deflated balloon moment of like, oh, what's it gonna? Oh, it was that. Okay. All right. It was a few words, and that was it. Right. So we had the fight with Tyler and Culber. We had Tyler admitting to Pike that he, was in love with
Burnham. That he had tell me.
And we resolve it. Oh, so we also have the Section 31 is. Oh yeah. They're the bad thing happening. It's not the Telosians, big heads.
No, they're good.
Big head illusionists who force people to relive horrible memories are not the bad guys.
No.
It's Section 31 because they want to basically dissect Spock, or at least his brain. So they're hot in pursuit. Anyway, they get fooled by the Telosians who send them illusions of Burnham and Spock, and then Leland
has an old Gracie Burns joke.
Oh, that's right. Say goodbye, Spock. Goodbye, Spock. Or good night, Spock? Did they say good night or goodbye?
Goodbye.
I think it was goodbye. Yeah. We do see what looks to be like, is it Starfleet Command? I don't know. The holograms, it's like all these different races. You've got the human, and then you've got an Andorian. But you got a whole group of them talking to Section 31 and being upset with them.
Yes.
Like, you haven't been deceitful enough. And Leland is falling out of favor, and to Georgiou's credit, like she's rising in perception, at least amongst the Starfleet folks. And so what we then get is this big moment where Pike's like, all right, we're on the run.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa.
Yeah, and then he gives everybody a chance to leave, and the deck crew says, no, we're going to stay. There are a lot of people on that ship.
There's a lot of people on that ship. I thought the same thing. I'm like, well, okay, you're allowing 9 people to speak for 500 or whatever it is. Are you going to take a poll and then let's say 37 people are like, yeah, I got a family, I'd rather not be on the road. Okay, we'll drop you off.
Yeah.
And we'll go without you. Instead of like,
no, too late.
Wait, I'm on the ship?
Sorry.
Son of a bitch.
You weren't around when we voted?
I was in bed. I was off duty. What the hell? You didn't wake me for this? So they are fugitives.
Yes.
Right now.
That's right.
From the law.
Yeah.
And they're
breaking the law. Breaking the law.
Breaking the law. I think that was the end of the song. They played with the credits.
Yeah.
Okay. And so they are obviously they are convinced the apocalypse is coming, and they have to do something to change it. Do they know what they need to do to change it? I think they're just like, we have to keep going to these different Red Angel beats because the Red Angel's trying to stop it. If we do what the Red Angel wants, we'll avoid the apocalypse.
Sure. Yeah.
In the trailer for next week, we do see it looks like Ariam's deceit is out. The cat's out of the bag because she's got She's got Michael by her neck.
Yeah, you can see her point of view for some reason.
So I think that they're not going to keep the all season of her pretending to be a part of the crew.
No, which is good.
Yeah, I agree. I'm done with. I like the whole point in some ways of Star Trek is the crew unified, finding solutions as collaborating and not have. Oh, and one of the collaborators, by the way, is constantly working against the group. So anyway, that'll be good. I look forward to that. Awesome. We've got other stuff coming. We've got
Sure.
Umbrella Academy, still working on that.
Yep.
American Gods.
American Gods
Episode 1
out.
of season 2
Yeah.
coming out. A little Neil Gaiman stuff. Excited about that.
Sure, yeah. Without Brian Fuller.
Yeah, unfortunately. That's a definite unfortunate thing. I've got my tickets.
Oh.
Captain Marvel.
Sure, I'll probably see it tonight or tomorrow.
Okay, great. We'll talk about that next week. So thanks, everybody. Talk to you later.